Hey, what's happening, guys? I've got something new to play with today, and I thought I'd share it with you. This is from Ruideng, the JDS6600 DDS Signal Source Dual Channel Arbitrary Wave Function Generator Frequency Counter. Whew. That's a lot of words. Basically, it is a 60 megahertz arbitrary waveform generator, 2 channels. It has a channel in for a frequency counter function. It will display all the different types of waveforms we're used to seeing, plus some arbitrary waves that you can create on the computer and import into here. So if we take a look at it, it's a pretty simple device to use, and it's really nice, in my opinion. Here we have our main screen. We have channel 1 on top, channel 2 on the bottom. And you can see it says they're both on, and you can see a little green LED lit there telling us that it's on. That'll go out if we turn the channel off. Right here we have our wave type. In this case it's a sine wave. And here we have our frequency. In this case it's 10 kilohertz. Our amplitude 5 volts peak to peak. Offset, which in this case is 0. Offset, putting your AC waveform on top of a DC carrier, so that instead of your zero crossing being at 0 volts, you can make it at 2 volts, 5 volts, or minus 2 volts, or minus 5 volts. We have the same thing down here for channel 2. Over here we have some function buttons. You can see they correspond frequency, amplitude, offset, duty cycle, and phasing. So if we're running both channel 1 and channel 2, we can have them in phase or out of phase. We have some simple controls over here. These are push buttons. They do not light up. Our waveform type, modulation, system menu, our measurements, an OK button, channel 1 toggle, channel 2 toggle, and this moves our cursor. And then if we just look over here a little bit, there's a rotary encoder and our output for the different channels. So if I press the wave button, you can see that sine wave has lit up. And now if I come over here and turn the encoder, we have square, pulse, triangle, partial sine, a CMOS, straight DC, half wave rectification, full wave, positive going ladder, negative going ladder, random noise, exponential rise. This is like the charging of a capacitor. Exponential decay, which is the discharging of a capacitor. Multi-tone, which is, I don't know, something I've never dealt with, so I really can't explain it. A sync pulse, a Lorenz, and then we have up to 15, I think? Yeah, 15 arbitrary waves before we go back to the beginning. Pretty simple. Now, this thing's about 8 inches square by 3 inches high, and it's $86. This was sent to us for our consideration by our good friends at Banggood. So I want to thank the friends at Banggood for sending this out. I've had a few different frequency counters over the years, so I figured we'd give this one a play, and we'll hook it up to the Siglent oscilloscope. We'll see how she does. We're going to start out looking here at the oscilloscope, and what we're going to do is we're going to put our probe over here on the square wave generator and make sure that our probe, if I can find the hole, is properly compensated. And it is. So what we're looking for here is we don't want to see any overshoot or undershoot on any of our peaks. So now if we see any of that, we'll know that it's coming from the function generator and not badly aligned probes. Alright, let's get everything hooked up here, and we'll take a tour through the system. Alright, so we got a 10 kilohertz sine wave at 5 volts peak to peak here. You can see our hardware frequency counter is on, and it's showing 9.99910. So yeah, it's showing us 10. Our channel 1 is 100 millivolts, peak to peak. And we're looking at 25 microseconds per division. So, let me just kind of zoom out here a little bit. Yeah. Alright, if I hit the frequency button here, and I move the cursor over, so there's our 10 kilohertz. There's 100 kilohertz. And you see that's still a really nice looking sine wave there. Move the frequency over here. There's 500K. And there's a megahertz. And we're still looking really, really good. Everything's nice and solid. We go down here and adjust our amplitude. There's 10 volts. Do I have my, yep, I surely do. There we go. So now, at 2 volts peak to peak, or at 2 volts per division here, there's 2, there's 4.5, that's 5. So we're at 5 volts peak to peak. We'll go back up here to frequency. There's 10 megahertz. And now you see we're getting a little bit of attenuation. That's simply a function of the oscilloscope, not this. And if we take it all the way up to as high as it'll go, which is 60 megahertz, good for RF work. Come in here, we'll adjust our trigger. We're getting a little fluctuation. Again, that's a function of the scope, not the frequency counter. So let's take it back down. We'll go somewhere nice and reasonable. There's 500K. Adjust our vertical time base here. And if we dig in here, you can see how this smooth sine wave is made up of tiny, tiny little square steps. And that is how direct digital synthesis works. Very nice. So let's try some other waveforms. Square wave. Okay, now at 500 kilohertz, we can see a little bit of undershoot on our square wave. Now, remember, our probe for the oscilloscope is properly compensated. So what we're seeing here is a function of the frequency counter. Let's go down to 100. Now at 100, we're looking much more square. Let's take our amplitude down. Let's go 1 volt peak to peak. Yeah, you can see a little garbage there, but all in all, everything's looking really nice. Let's take this down again. We'll go to there's 500 hertz. Now at 500 hertz in 5 microseconds, you can see we're pretty much getting a very nice square wave. On is on and off is off. There's really no rise or fall time we're looking at. So this is very nice. Change our waveform again. There's a triangle wave looking good. Partial sine. There's a CMOS. There's straight DC at 1 volt. Now there's half wave rectification, full wave rectification, positive going ladder, negative going ladder, white noise. There's our capacitor charging, the exponential rise. There's the exponential decay. There's our multitone. There's our sync. Let's go back to our sine wave. And this time we can put a little bit of a modulation in here. Let's see what we got. Modulation mode, channel 1 free sweep, I bet, can't talk, sweep frequency channel 1, and let's modulate. So you see we're getting a little bit of frequency modulation there. And if you can see over here, there is the frequency sweeping in and out. Turn that off. Function. That's okay to trigger. Manual trigger. There's a pulse generator. We have a lot of nice stuff here. This is very good. So let's switch things around here. I'm going to unhook the scope from the frequency counter, and I'm going to switch over to our external in, and we'll go to measure, and what we'll do is we'll hook it up over here to our probe compensation. This will give us a nice 1 kilohertz square wave. And then we can come back over here, take a look in there, and you can see we got a nice solid 1 kilohertz. There's our pulse width, positive, negative, duty cycle 50%. So that's a really nice function that's available on here. Just excellent. Excellent, excellent. What do you say we take it apart and see what's inside? Pretty easy to get in here. I'm not expecting any tricks. What I am expecting is one circuit board that maybe takes up a third of this space, maybe a half. Now here's one thing I don't like. These feet on the bottom are molded hard plastic. So if you have a wooden bench, or Formica or some sort of hard bench, which you probably should have if you're doing electronics, you might notice a problem with this thing wanting to slide around on the bench a little bit. You could easily put a little bit of silicone, or even some hot glue on there would probably take care of that problem right quick like. Alright. Spudger, please. I used to just jam screwdrivers in until I became a fan of Big Clive and learned about the joys of the spudger. So there's our main board, and really not a whole lot going on there. We've got a little power supply over here. We've got our USB controller chip. There's our TTL, probably our TTL controller chip. Looks like we got a JTAG interface here. This is our main processor, Lattice LCMX02. I can't quite tell. Maybe one of you guys can read it. I really can't. We got a couple of relays on our outputs. There is our keyboard control from the input, and all we got here is an LCD driver. So, yeah, it doesn't have an input for like an external clock source, but if you had an external, like a rubidium or even a GPS discipline clock source, that would be something that you could fit in this box. Maybe hack a little hole over there for that. Make use of some of this space. This is very light. This, maybe 4 ounces. There's really nothing to it. But for what you're getting here, I'm quite impressed with it. It puts out a good, steady waveform. A little bit of jitter at the super high frequencies, but nothing I'd be worried about. If you're worried about jitter at 100 megahertz, or you're messing around in the gigahertz range, you're probably going to be spending a little more than $80 on your frequency counter, because that's what this thing costs. So, fire it back up. Still working. Beautiful. Everything looks good. I like this. This is a nice frequency counter. Comes in a nice case. Like I said, definitely a hackable case. You could really get in there and do some stuff. So, I want to thank Banggood for sending this out again. This is a great piece of low-cost test gear, and you can find a lot of stuff like this at Banggood. You're trying to outfit yourself, you know, a startup electronics lab. You know, there's no need to spend $500–600, which is what you would have spent a few years ago on a dual output arbitrary waveform generator. They're available now for less than $100, and depending on the maximum frequency you wanted, I wanted something that would go up into the RF range. You know, you go down around, say, 25 or 5, even 5 megahertz, 10 megahertz, you can get these as low as like $60. Really, really low cost. So, that is going to be it for this. I want to thank Banggood one more time for sending this out for our consideration. I'll put a link down below where you can check it out. Even if you're not interested in buying it, click on the link. Shows Banggood that, you know, people actually watch this stuff, and they'll keep sending us fun stuff to play with. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate each one of you guys. Wouldn't be here without you. And you know, the holiday season's drawing near, and maybe it's bad form to say Merry Christmas, but I'm going to say Merry Christmas to you. If you're not a Christian, Happy Hanukkah, or, you know, whatever holiday you celebrate this time of year. Have a great one. Cherish your family, cherish your friends. You made it through another year. That's something to celebrate. And that's it. And I'm out. And one more time, I'm going to wish you all peace.